Joe Machado, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley. Joe Crowell.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Joe Machado.
Here.
Michael Rather.
Here.
Jared Barrett. Zane Cantrell.
Present.
Have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have any changes or corrections in the minutes?
Move to be approved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to be approved.
I'll second that.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Minutes are approved. Let me thank all of you for being here. We will, let me tell you about the procedures. Some of you may have not been here before. We'll have a report by our staff. And after that, those of you who have a request before us, we may ask you to come forward here and give additional information or questions. After that, we'll open this for a public hearing for any person who would like to make a comment or information about a proposal. We ask you to try to keep that within 3 minutes. We're pretty well familiar with the requests that are before us, so have your comments concise and specific and ready when we ask you to come for the public hearing. The first item of business is a request by Tony and Gay Lamb. What do you have on that, please?
Chairman Cantrell. Application 2015-6 is a request for special exception approval for an accessory dwelling unit that does not meet the standards for ADUs, with a request for variance relief of 14 feet, allowing a reduced building setback for a property located in the RM medium density residential zoning district. The property is located at 463 Campfire Drive, and it's along the corner of Indian Creek Boulevard. And the site has a 0.55 acreage. The property zone medium density residential. Because the property is less than 1 acre, they have to receive special exception approval to develop an accessory dwelling unit because they do not meet the minimum 1 acre required. However, originally the applicant had wanted to construct a detached accessory structure for the unit, but sorry about that. They have since decided to build an attached accessory dwelling unit to avoid having to include stairs. That would make it easier for a parent to for their parents. And we've not received any phone calls regarding this request or indicating that they are opposed. We have had some informational calls, but no one indicated opposition once it was explained to them. They plan to construct the addition to match the exterior of the existing principal home. In regards to the variance relief, because they are located on the corner lot and the lot was platted back in the 80s, it shows as having a 40-foot front yard requirement on both Indian Creek Boulevard as well as Campfire Drive. If it were to be platted today under our new zoning ordinance, they would only have to provide a 15-foot side along that second front yard along a street right-of-way. The front yard would be required, the front setback would be required along that frontage where the front of the house is oriented towards the street. So we posted a sign on the property. Behind the subject property, you have property that is located in the city of Murfreesboro, and you can tell by the aerials that the development pattern is much more dense, that these sites here are still on septic. They'll have to obtain a septic permit. They are aware of the location of the lines, and obviously have to pull a permit once if this is approved. Staff found that it met all the requirements for an accessory dwelling unit, with the exception of the site being less than 1 acre. That concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? Wait just a minute. Do we have any questions of the owner? We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to be approved. We have a second.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussions or questions? Call a roll, please.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Is approved. The next 4 items are from the Surefire Fireworks. And do we have anyone here from the fireworks? You're representing. Okay, what we'll do is we're going to present each one of them, then we'll go back and take each one individually. All of these sites, as we understand, you had these last year. Is that correct? Okay. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Application 2015-008 is a request for fireworks on the property located in a CS zone. The site is located at 2712 Las Casas Pike. It's a .68 site that's developed as a convenience store and gas station. The applicant was located here at this site last year. They would like to operate the stand from June 20th to July 5th of this year. The hours will be 9 to 10:30. They propose to have 2 employees working the site. We've not received any calls regarding this particular request, nor have we any records of complaints from previous years. And we posted a sign on the property. And the tent will be located adjacent to the store and obviously be the required distance from the gasoline pumps. The next application, 2015-009, is another request for fireworks on the property located in the CN Commercial Neighborhood Zone. The site is located at 6044 Lebanon Pike. It's a 1.60 acre parcel located in the Commercial Neighborhood Zone. The property is developed as a convenience store and gas station. They have been located at this site from 2008 to 2014, even before 2008. They would like to operate the stand from June 20th to July 5th. We have not received any calls in opposition or even any calls inquiring about the application, nor have we received any complaints in the past. We recently considered a vegetable stand a couple months ago for this same property. And this is the site plan. The next application, 2015-10, is a request for fireworks on a fireworks stand on a property located in the CN zone. The property is located at 5855 Shelbyville Highway. It's a 2-acre parcel. It is developed as a convenience store and gas station. And they have operated from the site, or a fireworks stand has been located from the site in previous years, and we've not experienced any issues with the operation of the fireworks stand from this site. We find that all of these applications meet the criteria for temporary special exception approval to operate a fireworks stand. They're all located in commercial zones. We've no record of any issues from previous years, and we recommend approval.
Okay, we'll try to go ahead with this. What's in the background, so. See if our technical guys here. Okay. We'll we'll try to continue now. Okay, have you got it all? We'll go to the Las Casas Pike site. We'll open that for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
Motion be approved.
Have a motion to be approved?
I second it.
Have a second. All, call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Okay, the next site is the Lebanon Pike site. We'll open that for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I make a motion to approve, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion to be approved.
I second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain, Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The Shelbyville Highway site, we'll open that for a public hearing. I don't think that, I think it's something,
With the commotion, I forgot to go over the last one.
what?
With all the commotion, I forgot to go over the last fireworks, yeah. So,
We're on the third one.
third one.
Okay. We'll open that for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it? This is the third one.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is the Highway 99 site. We'll open that.
I did not go over the presentation for that one. I'm sorry, I did not go over the presentation for that.
All right,
Sorry.
go ahead
Okay.
then. We need to do that.
noise. Application 2015-11 is another request for fireworks on a property located in the CS zone. The site is located at the intersection of Highway 99 and Clear Ridge Drive on a 2.24 acre parcel. They have located on this particular site for the last 3 years at least, and we've not received any complaints regarding the operation of the stand from this site, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. We'll open that for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Highway 99. Close the public hearing. Have a motion on it?
I move to approve it.
Have a motion to be approved.
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. All right, the next item we have is a request by Brett Nance, and this is a barrow pit, and it's also located on Highway 99. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2015-12 is a request for temporary special exception approval for a burrow pit with relief from the setback requirements for burrow pits in the RL low-density residential zone. The applicant, Mr. Nance, would like to remove soil from this particular site. He is proposing to expand 2 ponds that are located at the property, which is at 11,584 Highway 99. The site is 71.3 acres, And they received approval last year for a temporary special exception, and that a permit is approaching expiration, and they would like to continue excavating from the areas that were originally approved. Because of the location of the ponds, any expansion of the existing ponds was going to require some relief from the 150-foot setback requirement for burrow pits from residential property lines. That relief was requested last year and is also being requested again this year. The applicant is not proposing to expand the limits of the pond that was approved, the areas that were approved before. We received several calls, informational calls, regarding this particular request. Once it was explained to them what the applicant was seeking, no one indicated any problems with the request or opposition. And we posted a sign on the property, and this is the ponds. The light blue shows the areas for which you would like to expand the existing pond limits to, and a buffer area because there is a stream on the property. And our county engineer is here to answer any questions regarding the operation of the burrow pit under the original permit, and we recommend approval with conditions as explained in the staff report.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please, to the podium.
Mr. Maxwell. It's pretty much the way it was last year when we was here.
Sir, you gonna run trucks on the weekend? No Sunday,
One truck,
sir?
no more. We want run one truck.
But not on the weekend?
No.
Thank you.
Sometimes, maybe, but no, we don't plan on it.
Do you have a problem with not running any trucks on Sunday?
No, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't like to do it.
Okay. Well, if I vote to approve it, I'm gonna put an amendment on it to no site work on Sunday at all.
Well, no, that suits me.
Okay.
You've operated out there in the past, is that correct? Sir. You've been operating there in the past?
Yes, sir.
This past year. How much longer do you think you will be?
Well, if it don't quit raining, 10 years. But if it'll quit raining, maybe 2 years at the most. But, you know, the rain, you just can't haul dirt when it's raining. And we've had a lot of rain.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
I move to approve it, but I'd like to add no site work on Sundays.
Second.
I don't want to get into certain days that we can't work for obvious reasons. You might want to stipulate times and that sort of thing, but I don't think it's smart to do that.
Mr. Chairman, the reason I did that is because if the families around there have something going on, and at least would give them one day of the week that there would be no trucks, even though he's just running one truck, no trucks in and out of there. Is there anything legally wrong with me doing that?
He said that he would not be operating on the weekend unless it was something unusual.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not giving you a hard time, but I kind of go along with Joe here, because
Yeah,
Sunday,
I know. I expected you would.
If you can't not work on Sunday, hauling dirt, you know, if you're running a medical clinic or a drugstore, but hauling dirt, I don't see.
Why don't you put a stipulation on the weekend?
Okay. No weekend dirt
Wait a
hauling.
minute. Now, Joe's the one made this.
In other words,
you-
instead of Sunday, just no work on the weekend? That would be Saturday and Sunday, you're
That's
saying?
right.
Okay, no work on the weekend.
Anything from our attorney here on this?
I need to know the exact question you're asking me. Are you just asking whether there's anything legally wrong with saying he can't do it on Sunday? Is that the question? Is it okay that I add that in there? Well, I don't know that there's any legal reason banning you from putting that type of amendment on it. If this is something that Danielle was talking about, you can put an amendment on, then I don't know that there's anything that would specifically say saying Sunday. There's nothing illegal about saying you can't do it on Sunday, but I would advise that we explain the reasons for that, as Zane has said. I think you need to explain the reasons behind saying one day of the week, but as far as there being a blanket prohibition on being able to say that, I don't think that there is anything like that.
So what you want to do is just one day that there's no operation on it, and you just arbitrarily said Sunday. Okay.
Last said the weekend.
Well, he hadn't said yet. He's making a motion.
There is just to clarify, I understand there's already been a motion that was made, and was it seconded as well? So we need to clear that up, either vote that down or withdraw it before we take any other action on
You've
that.
got a Sunday, right? Okay, Sunday. Okay, Joe, you second that?
I second it.
Okay. Any
Had a
other
second
discussion?
From Jerry.
Seconded, okay. Excuse me. All right, call the roll, please.
Joe Crow,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by Philip Vaught, who is requesting a special exemption for a barrel pit. And this is on McElroy Road. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2015-13 is a special exception request for temporary approval for a burrow pit located in the RL residential low density zone. The applicant, Philip Vault, received approval last year for this exact same request. The property is a vacant parcel located off of McElroy Road. It's 11.66 acres, zone RL, and we have received several informational calls regarding this application, but no one has indicated any opposition to Mr. Vault's request to renew the permit that has expired. This is the photos of the surrounding area and the site itself. It's pretty wooded. You actually can't see where any excavation has taken place yet, at least from this orientation. We find that the applicant meets the criteria for special exception approval for a burrow pit, and we recommend approval with the conditions mentioned in the staff report.
Okay, do we have anyone here representing this? If you come around, please.
Philip Vaught, I'm here for a reapplication for a extraction permit on McElroy Road.
And you operated how long in this site?
What now?
How long have you been operating?
We operated last year.
Okay,
Till
1
the
year?
fall. Uh-huh.
Okay,
We quit hauling in the fall.
all right. Questions?
Much longer you gonna need?
The rate we're going right now, 2 to 3 years. Just to spring, summer, and fall.
Do you have a problem with me adding a no Sunday work stipulation? Okay.
I won't be working on Sunday over there, so that's fine. No problem there.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay.
We'll open this for a, do you have a question? We'll open this for a public hearing.
For anyone who'd like to speak on this request? Close the public hearing. We have a motion on
I'll
it.
make a motion to approve without Sunday work.
Okay, we have a motion to be approved. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Joe Crow,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Barry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Is approved. The next item is a request by Verizon Wireless. And what do you have on that, please?
Application 2015-14 is a request for special exception approval for the establishment of a monopole communications tower measuring 170 feet in height upon the property located in the CS zone. Verizon Wireless would like to install the tower on this property that is located at 802 West Jefferson Pike. It is a commercially zoned property that is developed as a mini storage and boat storage facility, and it's 8.85 acres. We posted the sign on the property. These are photos of the surrounding area. As part of our zoning ordinance, we have a section that allows for us to require of the applicant a third-party review to determine compliance with all of the regulations that we have set forth in our zoning ordinance. And this was exercised last year when we reviewed many towers throughout the county. The applicant has provided us with that third-party review from Cityscape Consultants. Those reports were submitted to you in your packets in the mail, and we have a copy of the report here, but they found that the proposed tower meets all the requirements and standards established in our code, including the buffering, making sure that it has they proposed the appropriate fencing, signage, that they obtain the necessary approvals to move forward with this. And they appear to be compliant. The third-party reviewer also recommended incorporating in your approval the two conditions that require the applicant to ensure all feed lines are installed inside the monopole structure so that they are concealed from view, and that all feed line and antenna parts shall be sealed in a manner to prevent access by birds and any other wildlife. The applicant, or this site, before they would be able to obtain a permit to erect the tower, they would obviously have to go through site plan review for the non-residential aspect of it. They'll have to show their access roads. We will have to review it for compliance with development standards. But they do meet the buffering requirements, and we are recommending approval with the conditions supplied by the third-party reviewer. These are just a few of the slides. We actually received a large set of plans, but these kind of show you the general layout of the lease site and the tower. These are maps that are supplied by the applicant to indicate the existing coverage and how it will improve with the installation of the tower. We have received several informational calls regarding the site. No one indicated opposition, and that concludes our presentation.
We have someone from the third-party review here.
I do not believe we have the third-party reviewer here, but we do have the applicant here.
Okay, the applicant here, if you'll come around, please. We're pretty well familiar with this site. If you'll just give us your name, and let's see if we have any questions.
Certainly. My name is James LePan. I work for Falk & Foster. We're here on behalf of Verizon Wireless.
Have any questions?
How far off of Jefferson Pike is the tower going to be?
Going to be, you can see that stand of trees there?
Yes.
Right near the thing, and then there's the gravel roadway, the gravel there. It's going to be just inside that, it's going to be just inside that gravel on this, in the corner, right there, yeah, right in that area, right where the pointer is.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to come around and make a statement or speak on this request.
My name's Luther Wright, and I think I own the property across the road. And I really don't know a whole lot about this. I don't know if I want it there or not. I mean, that's just, been in our family since the 20s, so I kind of research it. I did find out a little something about it. This is the first I really know about it. I come to this meeting because of the letter.
If you would like to go back and sit down with him, I'm sure he would give you a lot of information on it. Anyone else want to speak about it? Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Have a second. Let me remind everybody, on these monopoles, they're pretty well regulated by federal and state law. We don't have a lot of leeway here of approving or disapproving where they're going to place these. And that's very unsettling to a lot of people in our county. It's just the way it is. Now, we have initiated a third review, and we have a third review that looks at it from the county's point of view, and we want to make sure that they are in compliance with federal and state law. And we're told that they are by these third-party reviews. And we do that on every one of them that comes before us. So we have a motion and a second on this.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I would like for Mr. Crowell to consider amending that motion to include the stipulations set out by Cityscape Consultants. There were some conditions in there that they recommended. If we might.
Is that included? Yeah, that's included. Okay? We'll have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Joe Machoto.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by William F. Hamby, and this is a request for temporary special exemption approval, allowing special events. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2015-15 is a request for temporary special exception approval allowing a special event venue at a location in the RM Medium Density Residential Zoning District. The site is located at 431 Brinkley Road. In total, it's a 2.54 acre site. Applicants and owners, Mr. and Mrs. Hamby, are hoping to operate a special event venue from this location. We were alerted to this by a phone call indicating that the property was being used for these types of events, weddings, dances, birthday parties, and the structure itself or the site had not been reviewed for that type of use. In fact, it is considered a residential accessory structure at this time. We had contacted the applicant, and they immediately came in to resolve the issue. And they had two options. One was to either rezone the property or wait until we adopt regulations for this type of event venue. We have been inundated, our office, with these types of requests throughout the county. And as a result of that, since late last year, we've been working on regulations and standards for this specific type of use that would allow it to be operated from like a residentially zoned property under a special exception and not require isolated rural type properties to be rezoned to a commercial designation. However, those regulations have been reviewed, and the Planning Commission has worked on them for a few months, and it's finally in a form that they're ready to consider it formally for a recommendation to forward to the Board of Commissioners. However, at the earliest possible date that it could be adopted and put into place is in May. So in order for the applicant to continue to operate this as a special event venue, we recommended that he appear before the board to get a temporary approval for a maximum period of 6 months to allow him to use the structure and related accessory structures for the event venue. We have received several phone calls from approximately 3 to 4 individuals indicating some concerns about traffic, noise, that they've already experienced some issues with the lighting spilling over onto the residential areas or their residential properties, and just in general, the fact that there's a commercial business operating from the site. The property is zoned residential medium. However, it is being offered as an event venue. Staff is recommending that if the board decides to approve the temporary event special exception, that the applicant will be required to go through site plan approval like a non-residential or commercial development to determine whether or not parking is adequate, the buffering is adequate. They will also, and we passed out the recommendations from the building official, need to obtain the appropriate permits to change the occupancy of the structure from a residential occupancy to a non-residential occupancy for assembly areas. Under the new regulations that are being proposed, and they're clearly draft right now, originally they were proposed for event venues to be a minimum of 10 acres. After many discussions with the board, they reduced it to 5-acre minimum. So if the applicant were to get approval today and the temporary special exception would lapse, they would need to come under, if they get adopted, the new regulations, under those, they would need to come under the come before you for the special exception and ask for waivers from those standards that we're recommending. So the site is fairly small for this type of use. It's 2.54 acres, and it's located in a residential area. Photos of the surrounding area. This is the site itself. He has already laid out a gravel parking area. On the day that the sign was posting, it looks as though they were setting up for an event. As you can see, the trailer with all the chairs. This is the main structure, the barn that was rehabbed. I believe it was rehabbed. A permit was obtained to turn it into a hobby shop or for residential recreational use. And these are just cars there during the day. I don't believe an event was taking place. It was preparing for that. These are photos from their Facebook page that is available to the public, showing the areas that the venue can be used for. This is a loft area that is accessed by stairs. A photo taken from the stairs where they were having a special event. And ceremonies were taking place, and they had the seating for the wedding. This is their Facebook page. They also have a website indicating that they had parking for 120 vehicles, which that might not be completely accurate, and the area that's rentable is 3,600 square feet with some outdoor areas. And it appears that there are some outdoor events taking place, ceremonies, as well as just more photos from their site. The applicant supplied us with a site plan of the portion of the 2.54 acres that would be completely dedicated to the use. And it shows that the barn's 52 by 60, and they have a 16 by 18 pavilion, some outdoor features, as well as he's proposing to construct a 30 by 25 structure for storage for the use. But that building has yet to be constructed. And this is just, this particular property was combined last year. They were two individual lots, but the applicant had a combination plat submitted and combined the two parcels. So this is the portion of the property that is dedicated to the special event use. The remainder of the property is his personal home. And that concludes our presentation.
You have some questions? Go ahead.
Danielle, I was trying to do some quick math. So the just for the record, the 2.5 acres includes his home and yard. The actual place where the barn is like an acre and a half, right?
Yes, sir. It's approximately, it's more than an acre, but the 2.54 includes the residential portion of the property as well as the piece along Brinkley Road.
Thank you.
Other questions? Do we have anyone here representing this request? You'll come around, please.
William Hamby.
Do you have any additional information you want to share about
Yeah,
that?
basically what this thing's evolved is our intentions were not initially for this. We went in to rehab this old barn, something that we would like to have done so we could preserve this old barn. And it was something we had set up just basically for our own personal use and that type of thing. We had some requests from friends of ours to have some events, just if somebody, people from our church. And so the whole thing kind of snowballed from there. As you well know, it's kind of a popular venue type situation. People are looking for a place to have a birthday party, a anniversary party. We've had requests for that. Typically, we weren't out really marketing anything, like large wedding venue. There's really a need there that people don't have a place that they could take have a birthday party that they want to have 30 to 40 people or something like that. So it kind of evolved from that with friends and family, and our intentions were never to do that. But, as we saw that people wanted to use it, hey, why not people be able to enjoy what we have and what we've done? We've taken provisions to make sure, I think we've met, we went ahead and were proactive on making it all handicap accessible, and we have fire protection and so forth around it. We have within 700 feet of a fire hydrant. So we just see that, I know the Blackman community has been, my neighbors all have enjoyed coming over. Both neighbors, both sides have used it for different, just gratis. We didn't let them use it for that. Blackman High School has had different events, ROTC. People ask for having some kind of event there. So, we keep getting inundated, and we're saying, hey, well, we need to make sure we've taken the right steps in order to be able to accommodate these folks.
You mentioned weddings,
Yeah.
church events. Do you have outdoor parties with music and this sort of thing?
We have a sound system in our venue, and I control it all by my smartphone. So if something's going on, I live back there. I don't want to be interrupted any worse than anybody else. Most of all I have the ability to turn on outside if I wanted to, but I can control the music. The doors are everything is insulated. They can close doors. We tell them they need to, if they have music, they need to, keep it contained inside. Several of my neighbors have even made the comment, we're willing to be here, have asked me. They've actually enjoyed hearing some music, in there, but we've got total control over that. It's all working from your smartphone, and we can crank it down if we need to, or whatever we need to do to control any of that.
You quit, Joe?
I got a couple of questions. You got parking for 120 vehicles, so if two people came in a vehicle, that's 240 people.
I don't believe we have 120. I don't know how that evolved like that. It was.
How long have you been operating out there without a license? Did you not know you had to have a license to do what you're doing?
Well, we inquired about a license, and we were told that we didn't have to have a license for that. We obtained a checking account. We called up, and there was some confusion on that. So it really hasn't been. Most all the events that we had have been gratis. People that associates of ours or friends of ours that have had some things out there for that purpose. But if we need to pursue that, we're not, I run a business here in town. I've been in business for 30 years in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. And I have other ventures and other different properties. So I'm aware of how things operate through that. Yes, sir.
Joe?
You do understand that our biggest concern is public safety.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not, if there's a safety issue there, we're going to nail it down. If there is and we can't do it, then so be it. I'm not, I don't want to pull any punches on it. I'd like to have the ability to operate like that. If somebody wants to come over on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if we have something going on like that. But yes, public safety is going to be, I've made provisions already for that because my own family, I've got 5 children that live in the community, and I want to make sure that it's safe for everybody.
Gary?
Well, I was just look at the picture. We're talking about a subdivision here, and even with the draft that is, we hope, forthcoming on it, you would not even be half as big as you needed to be land-wise. You're so close to your neighbors. Do you not feel like you're in any imposition to the regular neighbors around you?
Well, all of them have been, yeah, my neighbors I've had nothing but positive response from any of them there. I've gone in, I'm a landscape contractor. I've gone in and done some planning, some buffering already in there, and if I need to do more, I will. I want to enjoy it just as much as I set it up initially for my own personal use, just for that reason on that. At the same time, I've been looking at this barn for over 18 years now, and I hated to see the whole thing torn down, and so went in there and tried to preserve it.
All your permits that were pulled, by what information we got, were for personal use.
Right.
But you never came back and said, well, we're not doing this personal anymore. I've got the public coming in here.
Well, yeah, I agree. We've had public coming in there, but when it started out with just groups from church. We had one family that had a reception there that we've gone to church with them for 30 years. They had an event over there, had a reception on that. I know those kind of things take place all over the place on different people's properties.
So you've not charged anyone?
If any of it's been because they wanted to contribute towards it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You say all of your neighbors, you've had no complaints from any of your neighbors?
I have personally not had a complaint from one neighbor at all. In fact, I had several of my neighbors even say they would even come today. And I said, well, I don't know if I want to drag you over there. I don't know if it need be. They said they'd be willing to do it or write a letter or whatever needed to be done. So I've had absolutely no complaints. I've been living on that same street for 25 years, on the same street where I am, and know my neighbors. If there's an issue, I don't want to be a nuisance to anybody at all. This is, it's just a fun venue, and I want people to be able to experience it. If you come and look at it, you'd see
How long have you owned a piece of property that the barn sits on?
For 2 years.
I live out that way, and I've seen all the construction going on, and actually I know Cisco's.
Yeah, the Cisco's. And you ask the Cisco's, they had an event over there. They've been over there. I let them have their do dog club or something. I just let them have some events over there. That's who actually raised Cisco's. Father-in-law was the one that owned all that.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Yes, sir.
comment. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. If you'll come around, just come around to my right, your left.
My name's William Zacharias. I live at 504 Brinkley Road, straight across the street from this place, and he has never come and talked to my family or to the neighbors to my other side of me about this compound.
Kind of show us where you live.
Right, go up one more, up right there. That's my place.
Thank you.
My concern is that, and I've got pictures here, if you'd like to, I made copies if you'd like to have them.
The first copy shows just a couple of weeks ago on 4-3, where his whole parking lot was completely full. And if you look at the second picture, it shows that he's already got cars parking on the grass on his property. We've been concerned since this all started, especially since the first of the year, Christmas time. There was parties that were going on, and trucks were stuck out in the yard throwing mud and all kind of noise. I'm concerned about the overflow of cars. Number one, there's already been too many, and for the traffic. I'm concerned about, number one, he's doing all this before he ever got the zoning permissions or anything. It is a very small place. I'm concerned about our prices for our property, that it's going to be affected, because when I go to sell my house and somebody looks across the street and sees that, they're going to say, what's that? And all I can say, what other people are saying now, is it's a party barn. Now, I know people like to have a good time, but I'm also concerned, number one, I've already said about noise, and number two, I'm concerned about alcohol. It's pretty quiet around our neighborhood. I know he's concerned about the neighbors on his other side of the road that he faces, but I'm concerned right there at Brinkley Road, and we've already had a number of problems with it, and not once have we ever been contacted or asked or any opinion other than this commission. And I just would like to hope you guys would vote it down. I think 5 acres is a good choice, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
And wait a minute, any questions? Thank you. You may be seated.
My name is Gary Dainsworth, and I'm the house right in front, the ones with the little trees right around it, all the way around. And my driveway and his are almost eye to eye. So I know when they're coming and going because I get the headlights. So they go into my window and out. But I'm like these guys right here. I didn't even know the gentleman, and so I have nothing against that at all. And what he's done, I understand, but I think it's a pretty small place to go. And like I said, I bought from Ray Cisco 23 years ago, so I've been there for 23 years. I have 6 acres there. My mom lives in the house behind me there. And we have seen the traffic. We have heard the music. And I don't know anything about the rest of it. But like I said, I'm directly in front of him. And we kind of have a subdivision around, but we also have, like, for instance, I have 6 acres there. My mom lives there, and I would like to sell that someday as a 6-acre place, not a commercial place. So I'm worried about the business. He has a lot of business there, so I understand he's doing really, really good. So, but anyway, I'm just saying that I don't really think it's appropriate where it's at. That's my opinion.
Any questions?
The gentleman that spoke beside you, he's your direct neighbor, right?
Actually, he is my direct neighbor, and he is my direct neighbor. All 3 of us are side by side.
So you would agree with everything he said?
That's why I didn't repeat everything he said.
Okay, thank you.
Because I would have said everything he just said. But
thank you. If you need to speak, come around.
My name is Stephen Preston. I live at 430 Brinkley Road, which is right next to Gary. We're all right in the line there, I'm in the side of when they're pulled out of a night. There's commercial weddings, which uses commercial events. And last I checked, it's a residential area there. There's been sorority events there. It's on the internet that they charge, I think that's all been established. But the reason I don't want it in the neighborhood, I'm afraid potential buyers for my property, I do eventually want to downsize, and I think potential buyers are not going to even look at my house if that's across the street. It's high traffic, and I agree with everything I've saw it all, because I've got a pretty good sight there. And when there's a line of trees there, and when they pull out to turn toward 96 south, it's like a strobe light through the trees, the light. So it affects you after a while. It gets on your nerves. But this is nothing personal to the man. I just shook his hand a minute ago. First time I met him, I didn't even know who he was. And there seems to be more events. Like last night there was one, and there was approximately, I tried to count without going over and disturbing. I just stood in my yard. And there's about 40 cars in the parking lot last night. And on the weekends they run over, and the drive is very short where you pull in, so it backs traffic up. People pull in to stop, waiting on other people to park, so you got to back up. And I had to wait to get out of my driveway. So I really would like to see y'all reconsider this. And
Mr. Chairman, I got a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Did he ask you about having these events? You know, he made a statement, he talked to all his neighbors.
I have never spoke to the man, didn't know who he was till he was standing there at the door.
How often are they having these events? How often are they having these events? Every night?
Not every night, but it's picking up. It started out one every now and then. I think October 6th is posted on Facebook that they started having events of like 2014. And one of my neighbors said he'd heard it was just going to be personal use. We never thought much about it. And it kept continuing, getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And then when we discovered it was on Facebook, it is Glass Barn advertised. And I guess it's been advertised since October.
How late do they go on? How late do the events go on?
Sometimes it's early. Around Christmas time, they was having some fairly late. Like I said, at that point, we didn't realize it was being used commercial. And I thought he got his barn done. He's having a good time. I'm not going to say anything. And then I realized it was being commercial use, and I thought, we're in for it. And it just continues getting closer together, more events. And I know there's one booked because a friend of mine, or my wife's friend, has got a wedding booked there in August. So they're booked out, and they're just, it's not very relaxing when you're sitting on your front porch or back porch and on the weekends and a big commotion's going on.
Pretty loud.
You can hear it. It hadn't been excessively loud yet, but if there's any outdoor PAs or anything, you can hear the music, yes, but it's not, excessively loud.
Thank you.
Just cars going in and out.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've got this boy, and I live at 4936 Little Bend Drive. It's off of Brinkley Road. And while I'm not impacted by the noise factors and things like that his neighbors would be affected by, I am concerned about one, public safety. Brinkley Road, as you all know, is a relatively narrow two-lane road. It has no shoulders, and the shoulders that it has are very steep. I'm concerned that there's a lot of traffic on the road as it is, and adding more traffic from the neighborhood and 3 churches that we have on the street is just going to create a bad situation. We don't know if the people at the parties are going to be drinking. We don't know what controls are going to be put in place to keep drunks from getting on the street. It's dangerous enough as it is. Our other concern is commercial encroachment into our neighborhood. We live in I would say it's a country-like environment in the city, but if we set a precedent here and let a commercial business come in right in the middle of a residential neighborhood, where's it going to stop? The next thing, it'll be across from us, across Brinkley Road. There's a good-sized piece of property there. The person could just as easily come in and say, I would like to build a big commercial establishment there. So I would recommend that you vote no on it.
Thank you. Appreciate your comment. Yes, sir.
My name is Corey Cook. I live at 1031 Caitlin Trail, and though I'm not a part of this, I would just like to point out that all the people who have spoken so far have commented on the problem ex post facto, and I was kind of wondering why they waited this long to bring it before the board and didn't just approach the person themselves. any of you could provide an answer.
Listen, make your comments. Okay, is that it?
Why it had to come
Well,
this
this is
far.
not a venue for you back and forth, okay? This is not the venue. So go ahead with your comments to the board. Speak to the board. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? We'll close the public hearing. Comments?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, even the new 5 acres, he does not meet that might come about sooner or later. This is in a residential neighborhood. The barns probably does not meet the codes for us having this many people on. I'll make a motion to deny the request.
Have a motion to be denied. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Joe Machoto.
Yes.
Barry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Any other business to come before the board? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.